Empala Zidane, gol, 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 gol.
Carlos, Ronaldo baja con el pecho, puede marcar Ronaldo, gol de Ronaldo. El golpeo de Roberto Carlos, qué golazo del Real Madrid, golazo del Real Madrid, qué golazo.
The Galáctico-era Real Madrid was one of the most ambitious projects in football history, but it didn't deliver as many titles as expected. Real Madrid has always been synonymous with greatness, but in the early 2000s, club president Florentino Perez decided to take things even further. He wanted to build a dream team filled with the world's biggest superstars, a true spectacle on the pitch. This was the birth of the Galácticos: Zidane, Ronaldo Fenômeno, Figo, Beckham, names that seemed unstoppable. Yet despite the astronomical investment, this team didn't win as much as expected. So, what went wrong? Today, we'll explore why the most ambitious project in football history didn't bring as many trophies as it should have. The Galácticos project began in 2000 when Florentino Perez took over as president of Real Madrid. His idea was simple: sign the best players in the world, not just to win titles, but also to turn the club into a global marketing phenomenon. Real Madrid was already a giant, but Perez wanted to take the team to the next level. And for that, his strategy was clear. Each year, a new superstar would wear the white jersey. But to truly understand the impact of the Galácticos signings, we need to look beyond the numbers and analyze the context behind each one. The first signing was a shocking move in Spanish football. Florentino Perez promised that if he were elected president, he would bring Luis Figo, Barcelona's biggest star, to Real Madrid. Few believed it, but he made it happen. Real Madrid paid 62 million euros for Figo's release clause, breaking the transfer record at the time. Barcelona fans never forgave the betrayal. In Figo's first game at Camp Nou wearing a Real Madrid jersey, he was met with a barrage of coins, bottles, and even a pig's head thrown onto the field. He was never welcomed in Barcelona again. The following year, Florentino wanted more. If Figo was the best winger in the world, he needed the best midfielder. That player was Zinedine Zidane, then at Juventus and a World Cup winner with France in 1998. The final against Brazil forever etched in football history. The negotiation wasn't easy. Zidane was a key player for the Italian team, but Real Madrid offered 77 million euros, once again breaking the world transfer record. At the time, some criticized the transfer fee, but Zidane proved he was worth every cent. Another superstar had joined Real Madrid. After the 2002 World Cup, Florentino set his sights on the best striker on the planet, Ronaldo Fenômeno. Ronaldo had just delivered an incredible World Cup performance, finishing as the tournament's top scorer and leading Brazil to victory against Germany in the final. The only concern was his injury history. He had missed nearly 2 seasons at Inter Milan due to severe knee problems. Even so, Real Madrid paid 45 million euros for the Brazilian. His presentation at the Santiago Bernabeu drew 80,000 fans, a record at the time. The commercial impact was massive. Ronaldo jerseys sold worldwide, and Real Madrid was becoming a true global phenomenon. Florentino realized that beyond signing top players, he could turn Real Madrid into a commercial empire. That's when he decided to bring one of the most marketable footballers in the world, David Beckham, who arrived for 37.5 million euros. The young British star was no longer in his best moment at Manchester United due to conflicts with then-manager Alex Ferguson. But on the field, his passing ability and set-piece skills remained spectacular. However, many questioned where Beckham would fit in this team, with Zidane and Figo already dominating the midfield. Would it make sense to bring in a superstar just to sit on the bench? The truth was that Florentino was thinking about marketing above all else. One thing was undeniable: Beckham's commercial impact was immediate. Real Madrid doubled its jersey sales and became the most popular club in the world. The last major signing of the Galáctico era was Michael Owen, the 2001 Ballon d'Or winner. The English striker arrived from Liverpool for 12 million euros, a surprisingly low price for a player of his caliber. But Owen faced a major challenge. Real Madrid's attack already featured Ronaldo, Raúl, and Morientes. What was the plan? Many were left wondering. In the early years, it seemed like Florentino Perez's plan was going to work. Real Madrid had truly built a team from another planet. With Figo, Zidane, Ronaldo, and company, the club won major titles, dazzled the world, and marked an era in football. However, success didn't come instantly. The team still needed time to find its rhythm on the pitch. In Figo's first season, Real Madrid won La Liga. The Portuguese star shined and was named FIFA World Player of the Year in 2001. This was the first sign that Florentino Perez was on the right path. The investment was starting to pay off. But the greatest moment of the Galáctico era was yet to come. The 2001 to 2002 season was the pinnacle of the project. Real Madrid reached the Champions League final against Bayer Leverkusen and created one of the most iconic moments in football history. The match was tied 1-1 in the first half, until, in the 44th minute, the play that defined the Galáctico era unfolded. Roberto Carlos sent in a looping cross to the edge of the box. Zidane waited for the ball to drop and, with perfect timing, struck a stunning volley, scoring one of the most beautiful goals in Champions League history. That goal secured Real Madrid's 9th European title, crowning the Galáctico project with one of football's greatest trophies. Zidane, who had arrived a year earlier as the world's most expensive player, had now justified every penny. Along with the Champions League, Real Madrid also won the UEFA Super Cup and the Intercontinental Cup that same year. After the 2002 Champions League triumph, Florentino Perez decided to add another superstar to the squad, Ronaldo Fenômeno. Expectations were sky high, and Ronaldo didn't disappoint. In his Real Madrid debut against Alaves, he came off the bench and, in less than a minute, scored his first goal. Shortly after, he added another. With Ronaldo in top form, Real Madrid won La Liga in the 2002-03 season, beating Barcelona and Valencia in the final stretch of the competition. Ronaldo finished as the team's top scorer with 30 goals that season. He also delivered a masterclass in the Champions League, scoring 2 crucial goals against Manchester United at Old Trafford. With a core built around Zidane, Figo, Ronaldo, Raúl, Roberto Carlos, and Casillas, Real Madrid looked poised to dominate world football for years to come. But what no one expected was that this golden era was about to collapse. With so many superstars in the squad, Real Madrid seemed unstoppable. But on the pitch, the first signs began to appear that the Galáctico project wasn't sustainable. The team was becoming more offensive but increasingly unbalanced. Losses started piling up, and the locker room turned into a ticking time bomb. One of the biggest missteps was the departure of Claude Makelele, a crucial defensive midfielder. Makelele was the engine of the midfield, the player who connected defense and attack. But Florentino Perez refused to renew his contract, believing he lacked commercial appeal. Zidane publicly criticized the decision, defending his teammates, saying, "Why add another layer of gold paint to a Bentley if you've removed the engine?" Makelele left for Chelsea and became one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, while Real Madrid lost its balance in midfield. Another major issue was the lack of role players. There were too many attacking stars, but not enough players willing to do the dirty work. The result? The team struggled against well-organized opponents. A constant rotation of managers made things even worse. In 2003, Vicente Del Bosque, the coach who had led the team to its first Galáctico-era titles, was inexplicably fired. The decision shocked everyone, especially the players. Zidane and Hierro tried to convince Florentino Perez to keep Del Bosque, but it was futile. The club's reasoning? Del Bosque was deemed outdated and not aligned with Real Madrid's new footballing vision. Ironically, the same Del Bosque later led Spain to its first-ever World Cup title in 2010. Shortly after Del Bosque's departure, club captain Fernando Hierro was also let go, causing further unrest in the locker room. Del Bosque had been a coach who knew how to manage a squad full of superstars. Without him, Real Madrid entered a period of instability. The club cycled through coaches who couldn't keep the team competitive. Carlos Queiroz, club legend José Antonio Camacho, and even Brazilian manager Vanderlei Luxemburgo, but none lasted long. To make matters worse, players started suffering from injuries and fatigue. Ronaldo Fenômeno, for example, faced recurring knee problems and couldn't always perform at his peak. The atmosphere in the dressing room also deteriorated. With so many stars, egos clashed. Players complained about a lack of discipline and favoritism toward certain teammates. Without a strong coach to impose order, competition arose not just on the pitch but off it as well. Zidane and Beckham were frustrated with Ronaldo's lack of professionalism. He was already struggling with weight issues due to poor fitness habits. Raúl, a homegrown Madrid legend, was envious of Ronaldo's star treatment by the club's management. Meanwhile, Figo and Beckham clashed with Roberto Carlos and Ronaldo over their wild nightlife, something the club chose to ignore. With no authoritative coach and a president focused solely on marketing, the locker room became toxic. After winning La Liga in 2002 to 2003, Real Madrid entered a title drought, suffering repeated early exits in the Champions League, humiliating defeats to Ronaldinho's Barcelona, and increasing criticism from both fans and the Madrid press. Florentino Perez believed that football could function like an entertainment business, and in a way, he was right. Real Madrid became one of the most profitable clubs in the world. But on the pitch, this mindset didn't work as expected. Football requires balance between stars and workhorses, between talent and tactics. By 2006, after 3 trophyless years and with the team crumbling, Florentino Perez resigned as president. The Galáctico era had come to an end. Years later, in 2009, Florentino Perez returned to lead Real Madrid, this time having learned from his mistakes. Instead of signing only superstars, he built a balanced squad with players like Casemiro, Modric, and Toni Kroos, while still bringing in big names like Cristiano Ronaldo, Kaká, Benzema, and Bale. This new version of Real Madrid went on to win 5 Champions League titles in less than a decade, proving that success requires more than just star power. Were the Galácticos a failure? Yes and no. In terms of trophies, the expectations far exceeded the results. But off the pitch, this team changed football forever. Clubs like PSG and Manchester City adopted the Galáctico formula, signing superstars and maximizing marketing potential. Modern football was shaped by Real Madrid's Galáctico era. So, do you think the Galácticos were a failure or did they leave an eternal legacy? Drop your opinion in the comments.
¡Qué golazo! ¡Qué golazo del Real Madrid! Roberto Carlos al cielo.